right. Awesome. Hey, well, welcome. Thank you so much for taking just a few minutes of your time today. We are kicking off Scale My Growth, and today we've got a special treat for you guys, something that loan officers are always asking us at Sales Boomerang, how to help them convert the alerts that you reach into apps that go right into your pipeline that will eventually turn into closed business. And you can start doing this day one. If you're receiving apps today, you can start turning them into alerts, or into if you're receiving alerts today, you're going to be able to turn those into apps today. The great thing about Sales Boomerang, this isn't a service that 30, 60, 90 days from now it starts to help you. It can immediately help you, literally from the second you're engaged with Sales Boomerang. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and we'll get into the presentation here. See what we got here. Give me 1 second here. Okay, there we go. Put it into present mode, and let's do it. Awesome. So again, this call today should only take about 25, 30 minutes. And as you can see, we're going to be going over phone scripts for your alerts. There are specific alerts that are specific scripting that you can utilize, best practice scripting that you can utilize. And what we're going to do is we are going to share those with you. Actually, let me make sure we're at the top of the script here. All right, perfect. So again, my name is Pablo Troncoso, and I am going to be your host. I'm also the director of training for Sales Boomerang. And so if we don't know each other, chances are you may have already met me through training that we've done, loan officer training for Sales Boomerang alerts, refresher trainings, real estate training, how to utilize Sales Boomerang alerts to help you become the center of influence with all your real estate agents. But today, again, we're going to focus on phone scripts for alerts. So let's jump right into it. But before we get into the alerts, I want to talk about the approach. This approach is very important. This approach, guys, is very important in how we're going to actually and how you're actually going to approach these. It's very important to know what that approach is, simply because if you do it in a way, there's plenty of ways to do it, but if you do it this way, right, your success rate is going to be higher than if you just reach out to somebody and letting them know that you have an alert, that you've been monitoring their information. So let's go over those points, right? The first approach is that right away, right off the bat, before you even get on a phone call, you need to understand that in this industry, right, in the mortgage industry, it's not a one and done transaction, right? Meaning that you have to be the one that's willing to be the relationship maker, right? Even if it's a client that might be a little bit harder to deal with than your average person, guess what? If you're the one that's willing to make time to be here for them, not only today for this transaction, but for the future, you're going to win. So we have to, I know it's easy to say, and it's probably something that you're like, absolutely, I know. But when, and especially during these times when there's so much business that's lining up outside of our doors, we might forget. And so keep always that at the top of the mind. The next thing is that this whole model that we're going for, it's not only a great approach to all of the alerts that you're going to have received, whether in the past or ones that are coming to you tomorrow or in the coming days or months. It's also a great approach for any and all business that you have. Okay, it's also a great approach for any and all business. And what we're going to share with you today, again, are going to be scripts that you can copy, edit as you need. Right? We call that modeling, as you see fit. Okay, so you got to have a willingness and a desire to connect. Really, that's what this is all about. And again, if you're in this business and you're finding it hard to want to connect and have a desire to connect with people, that might give you an idea that maybe there's an opportunity in a different role, right? But really, being a loan officer is not just about being in sales. It's not just about growing your pipeline. It's truly about being a communicator and an influencer. And you just look at some of the top producers, they all mirror this message time and time again. One thing that's very important, and an important approach, is that customers want to be led. Customers want to be led, just like when you don't know something about a specific topic, right? Like if you walk into, if you walk into a technology store and you're shopping for, whether it's a new computer or a new flat, a monitor for your home, right? A television. You want to talk to somebody that knows what that knows the topic and that can lead you down, hey, things to look out for. So you need to be that expert for them. And especially during these times, customers want to know that they can trust and be led by the person that's going to be helping them with their mortgage transactions. And that's exactly what this document is going to do for you. It's going to open up that dialogue from a phone perspective, right? From a phone conversation. And the approach truly is that you're reaching out to them and you're checking in on them, right? That's really the mindset that I want you to have when looking at all of these, that you're reaching out to customers, that these are customers that you've either already done business with or prospects that you've tried to help in the past. And for some reason you weren't able to, but now they've been alerted, you've been alerted that they're back in in potentially a shopping mode, or they're qualified to be looking at a mortgage transaction, right? So always approach them like you're checking in on those folks, because remember, there's a wrong way and there's a right way. The right way would be, showing them that during these times you're adding value to them, and literally just checking in on them, making sure that if they've got any questions that you're here for them. And there's a wrong way to do it, and that's, hey, listen, we've been tracking your stuff, and I've noticed that you've you had your credit pulled, for example, with another lender yesterday, and I'm calling you to let you know that I caught you, right? That's the wrong way. So with that being said, let's jump into the phone scripts, right? So we've got five different phone scripts that we're going to be going over today. And the first one's going to be the Mortgage Inquiry Alert, which is also known as Market Watch, right? And I know some of you are receiving alerts into your email. Some of you might be receiving alerts into your CRM, and some of you are receiving that same alert in both your CRM and your email. This has nothing to do with where and how you receive it. This really has to do with what's your first step when you pick up the phone and call that customer. And for me, truly, whether this is myself, whether it's a loan officer assistant, or some kind of CSR team that I have that I'm working with, these are the scripts that I would use, or make sure that my team is using to make sure that that we get that engagement right off the bat with a soft approach, right? So, for example, this is how I would start, right? In each one of these, we're going to have a few different bullet points that lead from one part of the conversation to the next. So, hi. Let's say your name is Charlie, right? Hey, Charlie, it's Pablo from from SBX Mortgage. I know it's been a while since we spoke, but I'm making a real effort to personally reach out to all of my customers during these times, right? And even while we're extremely busy, listen, you're a priority to me today, right? You're one of my priorities today, and I'm just reaching out, to thank you for being our customer. And I'm letting you know that I'm here for you should you have any questions or concerns, or wondering what to make of all of this, right? Some of my customers just want a professional to help them make sense of it all, right? Or they're just testing out the market. So what kind of questions did you have? And then silence. Let them tell on themselves, right? And I apologize. I'm going to back up a second. The mortgage inquiry, or the Market Watch alert, is the alert that lets you know that a past customer or past prospect is actually shopping for a mortgage, right? Has their credit pulled with a lender, with a competitor, right? And so if this has shown up, this means that, hey, somebody that you've worked with in the past is now possibly looking at working with somebody else. And the great news about this is that you get that within 24 hours, right? You get this alert right away. So this isn't you finding out like a week before closing, or after they've signed their applications or anything like that. So really the approach, again, like we talked about in the previous slides, is you're calling to serve them. You're not calling and telling them, hey, I know you had your credit pulled with a competitor. Like, what's going on, right? Now, listen, my brother-in-law, Hank, who might be a pain in the you-know-what, might get that phone call, right? But for the most part, your people are gonna be looking for a soft approach. So again, hey, Charlie, it's Sam from SBX Mortgage. I know it's been a while since we spoke, but I'm making a real effort, to personally reach out to all of my customers, even while we're extremely busy. You're still my priority today. Okay. So I'm just reaching out to thank you, Charlie, for being our customer and letting you know that I'm here for you should you have any questions or concern or really wondering what to make of all of this, right? Everything that's going on in the economy. So, and some of my customers, they just want a professional to help them make sense of it all, right? Or some of them are just testing out the market. So listen, I'm that person for you. I'm here for you. What kind of questions did you have for me? You see how maybe I've added some words. I made it more myself, right? I want to urge you to do the same. Make these scripts yourself, make them your own. But then after you ask a question, the best part about asking an open-ended question and you then go into silent mode, right? Like imagine your cell phone has a silent mode. Imagine you go into silent mode. They're going to be the next one to basically open up and say what questions they have, right? They're going to answer your question, or they're going to say things that we've heard from our loan officers that they say, wow, Pablo, I am so glad you called, right? Oh my goodness, Pablo, you won't believe what I'm in the middle, what I'm up to right now, right? I'm so glad you called. I lost your number. I got a new cell phone in the last, in the last year. If you haven't spoken to some of these people, this might be the first time you're actually talking to them since their last mortgage with you, and that could have been years ago. Okay, so again, very very serious. I want you to take that approach, and let's move into the next one. Right, this next phone script, Credit Watch, also known as Credit Improvement Alert. Now, what is Credit Watch? This is, you're going to know anytime someone has a qualified credit score, right, based on your lender's criteria, that now have reached that minimum credit score where now you can help them, where maybe in the past they were a turn down, right? So possibly somebody that you had turned down in the past, apologized, said, hey, listen, I'm sorry, we can't do anything. Obviously, we know why, we've discussed that, but do me a favor, right? This is what I'm saying when I'm turning them down, right? But do me a favor, remember, we're a no borrower left behind company. We're smart lenders. So we've got some pretty amazing tools that are going to let me know when your credit has improved to the point where I can help you. And I'm going to know right away. And so when I call you, please answer your phone, please answer your text, right? So now all of a sudden, fast forward, I've gotten that alert, right? I didn't have to tell my customer how detailed it is. I don't have to say, hey, we're monitoring your information. I receive an alert. It tells me what score you had. I don't tell them any of that. I just say, listen, we got a system that lets me know when you're qualified, right? And I'm the first to know. And so, you won't have to have this conversation with anyone else, right? Like, don't feel, I know you feel bad, but don't listen. You don't have to anymore. Okay. And if someone else tries to have the conversation, just shut it down. Tell them you've already got a friend in the business, and that's me. Right. So now fast forward, you've received that alert. Boom. This is their big day. They don't even know it yet. And here's that alert in your inbox. Now you can call up Charlie again. Say, hey, Charlie, it's Sam again from SBX Mortgage. Listen, I know it's been a while since we spoke, and I'm reaching out because we're keeping our promise, right? As a no borrower left behind lender. Last time we spoke, we weren't able to help you move forward, right? I recall, and I may have mentioned I'd be the first to let you know when you do qualify, right? And I would have them speak first, right? And this can be a simple pause that has them say, oh, okay, yeah, I remember you, or wait, what is this in regards to? Whatever that response is, I would say the very same next thing. And that's, so, well, before I share some good news with you, right? Before I share some good news with you, and I've been looking at our notes, tell me what's been going on with blank. And this is why I always say you got to take good notes of your clients, right? Don't just take notes of what kind of a mortgage they were looking for, right? Maybe take a good note is they were looking for this kind of mortgage because, and then whatever their real life goals are, right? What were their life goals? What are their family goals? What are their work goals? And by the way, if they say, wait a minute, who is this again? I literally would just repeat this first part of the script. Okay. So I would say, hey, Charlie, listen, it's me. It's Pablo from, from Sales Boomerang Mortgage. Right. And the last time we spoke, we weren't able to help you move forward. Right. We were trying to get you qualified. And I know that I mentioned at the time that I'd be the first to know when you did qualify, so that we can help you and your family move into that bigger house that you wanted, because I know you had just had your, at that time was a 3-month-old. By the way, how is little Charlie? Right. So that's going to really open up that conversation. And so tell me how things been going. And then they're going to say, wow, you know what? We had to move into an apartment. The place was too small that we lived in. Well, guess what? That's great. My system has given me some really good news, right? My marketing team has given me some really great news. And it appears that credit-wise, you're ready, like you're qualified. So, what I'd love to do is, why don't we sit down and see, it sounds like you're still possibly, in a position where you want to move into that house, right? Or where you'd need to refinance. Again, going back and looking at the main goals. Does that make sense? So that's 2, right? So that's your mortgage inquiry alert, and now your credit watch. Next, let's take a look at the phone script for Equity Watch. Again, I am receiving an alert from my database, and an Equity Watch is just for somebody that I've helped in the past, a closed customer, right? Somebody that I've closed and funded. So an Equity Watch is an alert that I'm receiving that's letting me know when a customer has usable equity in their home, and meaning enough equity, qualified, meaning their credit is qualified, their history is qualified, and they've got enough equity that I can actually do something for them. I can help them do things like, all the multiple reasons that you can help somebody with Equity Watch, or when they have equity, right? Being that equity is king. So let's jump into that. Hey, Charlie, again, it's Pablo over at SBX Mortgage. I know it's been a while since we spoke, and but I'm making a real effort. And we've been real busy. I'm making a real effort to personally reach out to all of my customers, even while we're real busy, right? You're my priority today. You literally, Charlie, are on my list. Here's my list. There's you right at the top of it, right? I also wanted to deliver some good news, right? My system notifies me anytime a past customer is in a good equity position. And I'm telling you, that's a really great thing for you, especially during these times, right? People have been using equity, just so you know, especially during these times, right? To do X, Y, and Z, whatever those things are, right? Have been using equity during these times to, to do home improvements, right? During these times, they realize that their home, as much as they're in it because of COVID, they wanted to do some expansions or some additions. They've also utilized this time to see that they qualify to purchase another home, right? They realize the house, that regardless of how much extensions they put into the home, it's just not the right home for them, right? Or Z, they've used it for things like paying off debt, consolidating debt, especially when they're not sure, what the future holds as far as income, employment, and all those sorts of things. So, based on our last conversation, right? You wanted to achieve this goal. Right? And again, I'm going to go back. You have to take really good notes, and that way you can go into those notes and see exactly what it was that they wanted to achieve, right? I always use the example of, hey, based on our last conversation, you wanted to retire over the course of the next 5 years. And because you wanted to retire, right? I'm taking it one step deeper. Because you wanted to retire, and be financially stable, you wanted to also have some more, fill up your asset column a little bit more, and also have some, some cash flow, some additional streams of income. And based on that, I just got off the phone with one of my expert real estate agents who specializes in investment properties for, baby boomers, right? Those that are retiring or already in retirement, in order to help them build their asset column and get them, some rental income. So based on that, the equity that you have can literally place us that much closer to that goal with some really great benefits, right? Again, I'm just using the script here. Based on our last conversation, you wanted to achieve X, Y, and Z, right? Name the specific life or financial goal. And the equity that you have can place us that much closer to that goal with some really great benefits. By the way, and again, this is something important, and this is a script. I know it sounds like something that you wouldn't say in a script, but it is part of the script. By the way, Charlie, I want you to know that today wasn't about you doing alone. It was about literally checking in on you, letting you know that we're here for you, right? So with that said, even with really strong equity that you have, and trust me, like not everyone in the marketplace has this, so you're in a good position, which puts you in the driver's seat. I want you to know that one of your choices with me is you can always choose to do nothing. Okay. I want to build that trust, right? So I'm always going to let my client know that they don't have to do anything. I'm just reaching out to give them good news. The same way an alert is an opportunity for you to deliver good news, that good news doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing business with you. It's a way to have that door opener and that conversation starter. And what a heck of a reason to possibly do business with you, but let's not assume that every alert is a deal. I want to distinguish that, make that differentiation, right? And then silence. You can choose to do nothing. And then say nothing. Because the next thing that person's going to say is going to be the thing that they want to do. Guaranteed. Right? Even if the thing that they want to do is, hey, Pablo, man, that sounds great. Listen, you caught me at a bad time. Can we pick this up a little bit later tonight? Well, guess what he wants to do? He wants to pick it up a little bit later tonight. Right? Or he might say, wow, you know what? Listen, I'm so glad you called. And, we've been thinking about that. I'm not sure if right now is the time. I think that right now, I think we want to hold off, but I'm really glad that you called. Great. That's so good, Charlie. Thank you so much for your honesty. And just like I said, I'm here for you. Is it all right if I follow up with you in about 60 days, 30, 60 days, right? And then lastly, he might say, that sounds great. Me and my wife, we've been talking about doing something. Can we get on a call and figure this out? All right, let's move right along. Next one's rate alert, right? A rate alert is you're going to get an alert anytime someone in your system has a higher rate than what you guys are offering at a company rate. Okay, so this one's a great way to open up a door. And I got to move on it because I know we're close on time. So again, hi, it's Pablo from SPX Mortgage. Hey, congratulations, Charlie, on listing your home. Oh, I'm sorry. I think I have the wrong. I just realized. Hold on a second. Rate alert. Okay, I might have skipped over one. Okay, so let's do this because that is not what I'm reading here is listing alert, and that was just a little error on my end. But let's do this. Rate alert is anytime someone's got a better that you guys are offering better rates than what your customer has, and this is going to be a past customer. So I'd call them right up, say, hey, Charlie, same thing, right? Listen, I'm doing my best to get in touch with everyone. Times are crazy, rates are crazy low. And, I'm reaching out to let you know that I'm here for you. We love the fact that you're a customer. And the reason I'm reaching out is because so many people have so many questions around what's going on in the economy. Is now the right time to refinance? Should I be looking at my loan? Can we do better? And I just want to let you know I'm here for you. Okay. And the reason I'm reaching out is also, my system lets me know that based on the rate that you have and what we're offering, you've got enough wiggle room that if we were to refinance you, it would make financial sense. Boom. Well, that's great. So what do we need to do next? Let's take that alert into an app. Okay. So let's move on. I want to go on from rate alert and let's pretend here. Actually, let me go in here. Let's pretend that this says listing. Fix that real quick. All right, boom. Okay, so let's go into listing alert. So obviously listing is when your past customer has listed their home for sale. And this is exactly what I would say, right? A past customer who's listed their home for sale, which means they're probably getting ready to move into another house at some point. And you want to be the first one to get them qualified for that home, right? So Charlie's now moving. Hey, Charlie, it's Sam over at the SBX Mortgage. Congratulations on listing your home. Man, I know that's a big step, right? And again, as an LO, you don't have to mention, but in case they ask, how did you know? They usually don't ask, right? But if they ask, hey, how did you know that I listed my home? Well, there's listing services, so that's obvious. But if they ask, how did you know? Well, there's listing services, and my system actually lets me know anytime a customer of mine puts their house up for sale. I'm telling you, I've got the best team in the country, right? So I've even given you the script on what to say in case they ask, how did you know? So talk to me, Charlie. Talk to me about the big decision, right? To put your house on the market. What are your plans? And then again, refer back to your notes of the big goals that they had, not just their goals of what kind of mortgage they wanted, but what they wanted to achieve in life and financially, right? And retirement wise. Those are kind of the big areas, right? What are you doing career/retirement? What do you want to do financially? And what do you want to do family wise, right? Those are such easy and great ways to go back and lets them know, oh, wow, Pablo put attention, right? Pablo took notes. This is the kind of guy that is interested in me and my future, right? And then, of course, after you ask them what their plans are and refer back to those notes, listen, that's fantastic, Charlie. I'm really happy for the two of you. And of course, you can use whoever you can use whoever you choose, right? It's always a buyer's decision. But listen, I'd love to get you pre-approved for your next home, right? I'd love to get a shot at helping you get pre-approved on your next home. What do you think? What do you think? Let them answer it. Pablo, that's great, man. I'm sorry. We're actually already working with somebody. Okay, listen, if it doesn't work out, I'm here for you. And I'm here for you now. You've got a friend in the business. If you're not 100% sure or comfortable, I'm still able to help you. Okay. And then the last one is debt alert. Debt alert is the one where you receive an alert when they've got a certain amount of debt that they didn't have before. And when I say debt, I mean revolving debt, right? Like credit card debt. So now all of a sudden, but they're still credit qualified. They still have equity. There's a certain minimum loan amount and there's a certain minimum debt amount. Again, these are all criteria that are founded by your company, by your lender. And so let's see what that sounds like, right? And this one's going to be very similar to the credit improvement, where you're reaching out to them, but you don't necessarily want to tell them that you know that they've got debt. That's not like a great thing to really open up a conversation. So, hey, Charlie, it's Pablo over at SBX Mortgage. I know it's been a while since we spoke, but listen, I'm really making an effort to personally reach out to all of my customers, even while we're extremely busy. And trust me, we are slammed right now, but you're my priority today. All right. I also wanted to deliver some really good news, Charlie. My system notifies me anytime a past customer is in a good equity position. So that's a really great thing for you, especially given the crazy and uncertain, the craziness and uncertainty that's out there right now, right? So I'm saying that they're in a good equity position. I'm not saying that they've got credit card debt, right? But then what I do is I let them know that with this equity, it opens up an opportunity, a possibility for them. People have been using equity, especially during these times, to do things like buy a new home, do home improvements, pay off debt, credit card debt, consolidate, right? But definitely the last, so if you're giving like 3 options, 3 reasons of why people are using equity during these times, right? And you might have very specific cases that you can talk about, which is great. If you do, that's fantastic. If you want to be more general, that's okay too, right? People are using it to do home improvements. People are doing it to, to help kind of ease the pain of student loans, and people are using it to pay off their credit card debt and save money on with consolidating credit card debt and revolving debt, right? Make sure that the revolving debt, the reason why you have the alert, is the last thing you say. It's kind of like when I ask my son, if he wants to stay home with mommy or daddy, right? Whatever I ask second is usually the one that he picks, right? If I say, if daddy wants to stay home and relax while mommy goes out to do the grocery shopping, I say, do you want to stay home with mommy or do you want to stay home with daddy? He'll say, stay home with daddy. If I say, do you want to stay home with daddy or do you want to stay home with mommy? He'll say mommy, right? So definitely make sure it's the last of the three or the options that you give him as far as paying off revolving debt. And then again, go back to the notes. Based on our last conversation, you wanted to achieve X, Y, and Z. Well, based on that last conversation, you wanting to, send your kids off to school, by the time they, and be able to pay for that by the time they both graduate from high school. Well, guess what? The equity that you have in place puts us that much closer to your goal. I just wanted to deliver that good news for you. Silence. Okay. So guys, that's been it. We've gone through all of the alerts. We went through the mortgage inquiry. We went through credit improvement alert, went through rate, went through equity alert, and we went through listing, and lastly, debt. Okay. So again, my name is Pablo. If you have any questions, feel free to drop or comment into the post here. Send me an email as well, pablo@salesboomerang.com. You can even message me right in SBX, our Loan Officer User Group, Facebook group. And I thank you so much for your time today. And please do me a favor. If you enjoyed this, tag somebody that's in your office that should listen to this. Or if you've got an idea and want some feedback, or if there's a specific thing that you want to learn more about with regards to Sales Boomerang, go ahead and drop that in. But we're going to be doing a Scale My Growth training on Wednesdays, right at the same time. And so we look forward to working with you and having your production increase and your growth improve. Take care. Stay well.